day 2 here in the machine learning system going live. We went long down there, down here. Let me put this out of the way. We went long down here on that turn. Let me do that. There we go. On that turn, we got to scratch, and we'll see if we survive this little pullback or not. Okay, so no. 4-tick gain. All right, so we went short there, and now it's scratch. Anyway, I'll probably do a webinar on Saturday where we talk about the specifics of what's going on here with the rules that I've implemented in the spreadsheet study that actually govern taking the trades. That's more about just managing the automated trading. We're right at 6,900 here, so whether we bounce or collapse is up in the air. I'm at scratch, so I don't care, right? Actually, the machine's doing it, and I'm hardly even paying attention, so I don't care in that respect as well. But really, if you're going to use the system here, what you want to learn is the Sierra chart order types and trail methods. All right, so I'm using something very simple. It gets to 10 ticks and it moves the stop to the entry +1, and then there's a hard target of 30 ticks. If it does get to 20, it'll start trailing by 20. So just very, very basic. And I'm going to keep it that way for a while, just as a control, and then decide from there how to do it. I would not normally trail this way, but it's a way to, the machine learning system is trained to find 30-tick. It's basically trained to find instances where it goes 30 ticks in one direction before it goes 10 ticks in the other. All right, and so I'm just going to keep that for a while I make sure I've got all those moving parts are working correctly. And we just went long. And then later on, I need to investigate the different trail methods that Sierra chart has. There's a lot of choices. It's very complete, and I know how I like to trail. I don't know if I can implement it with their automated trading system or not. Okay, so we just went to scratch there. We'll see if we advance higher or not. And then for us humans, what would we be doing as humans? We don't have a trade here, so we'd just be continuing to watch. Probably our bias is lower. We'd be very careful because we're at yesterday's high. We're expecting a bounce here, and we've been basically sideways to slightly lower. So there's nothing spectacular going on here so far. All right, so long again here. So we got taken out on this little pullback. So that's a function of it's trailing the stop too aggressively. And then system gets long again, and then again got taken out because the stop trail's too aggressive. So that's just me being cautious because it's new and it's a machine learning system, and I don't quite know the best way to manage those trades yet. In this environment, in an environment where you take way more trades than I normally take as a human. Actually, and in this case, it's pretty unfortunate because we basically got stopped out to the tick there, and now it's advancing. So that's the when I'm teaching humans, we talk about basically don't do that because you've got to give the market room to work for you. So dealing with some issues here just related to the fact that we're in an area of the map where there are dragons, right? And it's unknown, so we're being cautious rather than bold. So we're discussing why did the machine learning system say to get long here or here, or why did it say to get short here or here? And the answer is not at all satisfying because it's not programmed with traditional programming logic. We don't say if this then that, and you can easily walk through that logic to see why it made the choice it made. Instead, what you have is a very dense set of weighted relationships, thousands upon thousands of them, all of which are being applied at once. And so it doesn't do what it does because I told it to do that. It does what it does because that's the output of the training based upon the data I gave it and the architecture that I gave it. All right. So from a machine learning system, or really almost any of these AI-based methods, we can't really see inside that dense network to understand why it made the choice it made. It's actually an area of active research to help us understand that better. In this case, there's on the order of I'm going to have to check this number, but it's 60,000 weighted relationships being applied to produce an output. It might be. I think it's higher than that. In any case, what we have to do then is, having created an architecture and given it data and trained it, and now I have a model, we have to treat that model more like a natural phenomena that you now experiment with. So now I have this thing. I don't necessarily understand why it's producing the output it's producing, but I can test it. I can apply it, and so I've done that. This is part of the process of validating if what you have works. All right, so there's batch simulation, there's real-time simulation, and now we're doing live. But this is the way to look at it. Think of it like a natural phenomena. Test it, understand its boundaries, understand its pros and cons, and then make a decision on how to use it from there. Just getting back to our this last entry, these last sets of predictions here are actually really nice. The stop management is too aggressive, which has taken me out of this nice move here. There's another code here to get long, actually 137, but that is in the category of too aggressive. So there's something that we haven't talked about is we're looking for specific behaviors in the market, but then within each of those behaviors there's a spectrum between conservative and aggressive. And so the more aggressive you are, the more opportunity you have to either turn a profit but also take a loss. So I'm using a moderately aggressive set of actions based on the behaviors that we're looking for in the market. Okay, but in general, you can see, like yesterday, we got caught in some chop and got taken out kind of really before the fun moves happened. But here, I like what I see. Going short there and scratching, clearly finding the turns here. This is just a function of trade management. I'm too aggressive on my stops. That's that's the choice I made, so I got to live with that choice. That's a long. If it starts with a 1, it's a long. I told the system I don't want to be that aggressive, so it doesn't do that. Same thing there. That's kind of why another long, very aggressive long signal. But here, start finding the turn. We didn't get filled there. That's just life. So now we're just waiting. We're just going to wait for the next signal. And actually going short again as we speak here, or trying to go short. Let's see if we get filled. And so filled short. So we'll see. Now this is a good case where I wouldn't take that trade as a human. I feel like I missed it, and to do it now is chasing it, and yet I'm at scratch. So all right, that's what we're after. Take the trade, get to scratch, and then see what happens. So the machine learning system is performing sort of as expected here. And now it's up more than 20 ticks. So with the simple trail method I'm using, it's now trailing by 20. And we have a target of 30 there. So let's see if we hit that or not. All right, so there it is. That's actually the first. So in 2 days now, that's the first trade we took or rather, the first trade the machine learning system took that hit the hard target. All right. And again, this is a good example of I would not have taken that trade as a human. Um, I can see the turn up here. That's very much a rational trader signal right there. But having missed it on this little pullback here, I would not have gone in again. All right, but the machine learning system sees it. Okay, it sees what it sees in the order flow data, and off we go. And that's why we're using this. So I didn't make any choices here as a user of the system at this point. There's no what should I do. There's none of that going on. We're just talking with my members in the room here, and I don't even have to be here. I don't even have to be present for that to happen. All right, so here we are at the end of the session. It's 9:36 right now, and I had stepped away at 7:30, and so the system traded by itself for the next hour and a half. What we saw was some basically trade management problems here, where we get stopped out on little pullbacks. This is as much a function of how volatile the market is right now as it is the fact that that's pretty aggressive stop management. And then let's see, we got short up here and caught that 30 ticks right there. You can see here we get long here. All right. Boy, that's a nice long. I like that when you're getting long on a down bar like that. Again, a trade management issue. You can see how we're a little too aggressive with that stop trail and get taken out before the nice move. So there's a fair amount left on the table here because of trade management. And then let's see, we try to get long here and get whacked. Take a loss there. And then, okay, so then this nice fall comes, and we missed this fall here. This is unfortunate. I would expect the system to be careful through here because that's starting to look sideways. I worked really hard to stay out of choppiness. Whoops, we'll see in a minute why that we still have some work to do there. So I'd expect predictions in here. So the system's going. I don't see the short here. Okay. So we missed that nice fall. That's unfortunate. And then I get caught in the chop here. You can see how these pullbacks here are getting evaluated. Some are scratching and some are taking losses. There's a series of losses here that basically give back all of that gain that I had earlier. Made worse by the aggressive stop trailing, but made worse by the trade management. So we take a bunch of chop losses here. Some are scratches, some are losses, and we end up giving back all of our gain. And then let's see, and I think that's it because we now hit our max loss. And unfortunately, as I was doing the evaluation, I ended up removing the other codes to see what would have come up here. There was a I don't recall exactly, so I can't say. So that purple line is 9 o'clock, so it stops at 9 o'clock. Not that it matters because the chop here gave back all of my gain and took us to over a minus 110, so that means we stop. So you can see we still have some work to do here in terms of refining, figuring out when the market is chopping sideways. This is a little bit a function of the volatility, a little bit, because this fall is so violent that the system is taking a little bit longer to recognize that you're now going sideways. I think we talked about this yesterday, how today did not look to me to be as volatile as the prior day. It still was in the category of, as a human, I would not be trading it because I'd be concerned. And so again, we have that correlation between volatility and the max loss. In order to take advantage of the opportunity of that volatility, we're going to take more losses or more max loss days. Here we also have some issues just related to the aggressive trail management. Some of that is me wanting to continue to use something simple to use as a control as I run what is an experiment now with a live account. And some of it is me just not being familiar with Sierra Chart's automated trading choices. The way that I normally trail is I trail to the pullback, to the zigzag here, and so I'm getting stopped out a little too soon. A couple times here, and then again here. Okay, so we'll have to see. I'm not going to change the trade management just yet. This is what I've used for all of the modeling, all of the batch simulation, all of the real-time simulation. So I need to keep that variable the same in order to evaluate the differences as we move to live. So far, I actually don't see a lot of difference. I don't see any real differences between the real-time simulation and the live account. So that's encouraging. That means I can rely on the results I saw in the real-time simulation. So today's result, where did it go? That's my server. Minus 130. So as soon as we hit minus 110, the machine stopped. And that is it for today.